Well, it sounds to me like you preferred shooting in a live environment over shooting in the studio.
Yeah, I prefer the live stuff, stuff where they're doing something, where the artist is doing what they do.
Right.
You got within a concert, and within a 45-minute concert, you got a minute and a half to get something good.
Oh, wow.
And in some cases, even less, depending on the performance, depending on what lighting, what side of the stage you're on, all those things. Your mobility to be able to move in and out of a situation.
Now, what kind of access did you have when you're shooting live? Were you just specifically down in either like on the side of the stage or down in front, or were you allowed access backstage?
Oh yeah, full access.
Oh man,
behind stage, out front. Sometimes the artist in the room. Tell you a funny story, make you laugh.
Oh, I love this.
So I had to do a show at the Beacon. For the life of me, to this day, I can't remember who the artist was. Big artist, and they said, and a lot of times what I get is you get a cross call. In other words, another record company would have an artist at a show that you're at.
Mm-hmm.
So they will contact Atlantic and say, hey, we understand Jim's going to be there. Can he do some stuff for us?
Okay.
Our act is coming on first. Can you do some stuff for us? And they said, and I said, yeah, sure, go ahead, call them. Or, we'll talk to them. They'd leave a message on my pager.
Right.
So-and-so will call, and they want you to do Jerry Butler or a sub-act.
Okay.
And so on this particular night, again, I can't remember who the major was, who the prime artist was, but Feliciano, they said, was on Mercury. I can't remember. Anyway, they said, we need you to get some shots of Feliciano. I said, all right. They said, we don't need him necessarily on stage, but, if you get something personal behind stage. So I said, all right, so no problem. So I get up to the Beacon and I come in and there's a hallway. And in the hallway, there's, I guess you're familiar with this too. There's a lot of instrument packaging, cases.
Cases, yeah.
And mic stands and music stands and whatnot.
Yeah.
Instrument cases and drum cases, kits, cases and whatnot. And this little foyer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I come in and walk in, make a left. And I distinctly remember making a left, and there was Feliciano. And he says, Felice, hey, how are you? I really like your music. They sent me up to get a couple of things. So he said, well, what do you want? I said, well, just keep on playing, just keep on rehearsing because I know you're going on. Don't want to interrupt anything.
Right.
I'll be over here, on the other side of the room. I had a 135. I was able to close in, get some nice things with them. And I was just very quiet about it. And I knew moments that he'd be running a riff and get that, and so all of a sudden there's this knock on the door, bam, 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 and, bam, bam, bam. So Feliciano yelled out, come in. So as the person comes in, they knocked over all the drum kits and the light stands, and it's crash, bang, boom, knocked the whole, whole stuff, So finally he yells out, what the fuck, are you blind?
Okay.
In walks Stevie Wonder.
Oh, no.
So they start going at it, what do you do? Leave your seeing eye dog at home?
Oh.
Blah, 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 And so they start going at, blind people with blind people have a weird sense of humor.
Oh my God.
And so they were going on about it. They had mentioned to me, this is Jim. Again, really love what you do. And they suggested that, hey, have you ever thought of going to a concert or going to a gig as a blind photographer?
Oh my gosh.
I said, you people are sick. You're sick.
Oh my gosh.
Said, yeah, you show up, you you shake hands with a lamp or something like that. You know,
you gotta wear the dark shades.
Hold it right there. Hold it right there. You know.
Yeah. So. Oh my, that's fantastic. Now, so
I mean, there's a whole. I mean, there's just a whole bunch of funny stories and whatnot that I've encountered.
So you've had some. Well, it sounds like you've had a lot of really good interactions. Have you ever had any that were?
The session with Hendrix was very, very serious. I mean, nobody was smiling.
Oh.
Because they had a very tough road to go. Are you familiar with the record Isabella?
Oh, yes. I'm a big Hendrix fan.
You've heard it?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I love Jimi Hendrix's work.
Yeah. Okay. When I get off the phone, play it again, because there is so much going on. The production of that record was like a task within itself.
Oh, my gosh.
Because all the things that are going on, if you listen carefully, put on some headphones and listen to it, you hear all the things going on. At that time, there was no studio that could do this. And I'm talking about even Electric Ladyland. Electric Ladyland was built, and they couldn't have recorded the way they did there.
Oh, geez.
As many tracks as they had, they couldn't do it. No.
Wow.
They couldn't do it. So they called in the master, Eddie Kramer.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And he put it together. But it was so tense because there were so many adjustments they had to make, and it was constant. Hendrix was walking around. He had a guitar, and he had a long cord. I mean, like maybe a 50-foot cord, 30-foot cord.
Oh, wow. And
he would just walk from place that he was playing. And somebody would be around, they'd be feeding the cord or following him around. And so, as I said, I managed to position myself in a good spot. And there was one moment where we came face to face. He came over to where I was tucked away. And I just started shooting. There's a black and white picture of him looking right into the camera.
Oh, wow.
And I just started shooting.
Oh, my God.
That's up on, I don't know, did you know of the website I'm on? The Jim Cummins Collection?
Yes. I've got it up on my computer right now. It's, Cummins Collection. I'm actually on the artist page right now. So I'm got Hendrix.
The Jim Cummins Collection, yeah.
And there's some amazing stuff. I definitely want everybody who listens to this to check it out. I've got a couple more questions. If you don't, I know I've kept you a while, but I did want to ask you if, and all your interactions seem to have that you've shared with us are fun, nice, great interactions. Were there any artists that were just pain in the ass to work with?
Oh. You got an hour? You got an hour?
Who sticks? I guess I should narrow that down. Like, who sticks out? Like, if I say that, who's the first one to come to mind?
Okay. I'll tell you the story how I got fired and rehired in the same meeting.
Okay. I got to hear this.
All right. So every quarter at Atlantic, Nestle and Ahmet, they call in the staff and they review every album that does come out for that quarter, be it 20, 25, or whatever it is.
All right, it's Ahmet Ertegun,
they review it all the way. Yeah.
Okay.
They reviewed it from the art direction to the photography to the recording. They take it apart.
Okay.
They take it apart. So this one particular quarter, I was able to try a couple of different things, and I had. That was my worst album cover was an album called by an artist called Hank Crawford.
Okay.
And the title of the album was "It's a Funky Thing to Do." Thank God it's not out there anymore.
Oh.
But I had to photograph this guy. He was just, I mean, he didn't move.
Oh God.
He didn't move at all. I mean, the only thing that moved, the pictures of the eyes of Jesus.
Yes.
Where the eyes go back and forth. Yes. That was the only thing. That was it. That was it. Can you move this way? He'd move a finger. He did not move. He did not move.
Wow.
I had to I went over, checked his pulse. See if the guy was alive. Offered him a drink,
Yeah.
And, guy, I mean, this guy, he did not get drunk. And he just, same thing. So that didn't go well. So we had to do another session. And that session didn't go well.
Oh, geez.
Same thing. And then I said, well, okay, I'll take him outside. Took him outside. It started to snow. So I couldn't catch a break with this guy.
God.
All right. So they had to go with the cover, something anyway. And from something that I shot. And I just was not happy with it. And the designer didn't do it any justice.
Oh, God.
He didn't help me out any. And so the other cover that I had, and it won an award, was I did a cover of Mongo, Santa Maria.
Okay.
And and he, I told him when had him over the studio, and I said, look, I want to do something with you serious, because you're usually smiling, but I want to do something not with you evil, but just a serious expression. You're a serious musician.
Right.
So he said, okay. So I had him leaning on the drum. I had him nicely lit and in tight with, his arm leaning on, you'd probably run across it.
Yeah.
And it was a nice, strong shot, strong image, looking directly into the camera.
Okay.
And so that won an award. So Nestle and Ahmet had the meeting. Mainly Nestle does the talking with this particular thing.
Okay.
And so they had the meeting, and I was outside the office where the staff is in there, the producers, some arrangers, and the VP and the art director. And they said, and Nestle comes in. He says, "Look," he says, "before we go on," he says, "I'd like to get one thing out the way." He says, "We have an album cover here." He says, "It's probably the worst thing, It's really terrible. This album cover is really. He's holding two album covers. He says, "This is really terrible. This we can't stand for. I mean, look at this. This isn't us. We can't have artwork like this going out. We don't have. It's not being done." He says, so they're trying to say, but Nestle, look, you don't understand. He says, "I understand that this is a bad cover, but Nestle, the guy has no. I don't want to hear it."
Oh, gosh.
Who shot this cover? They said, "Well, no, Nestle, look." He said, "No, who shot this cover?" They said, "Jim Cummins." They said, "Jim shot this?" He said, "We're going to have to talk to him about his contract.
Oh, God.
He can't be shooting stuff like this." He said, "Now, here's the cover that I want to see." He said, this is the guy. If Jim can't do it, this is the guy that we hire." And he held up the picture from cover of Mongo. "Now, who shot this cover?" They said, "Jim." And they grabbed me and picked me up and took me around the corner and fell down laughing. They said, "Man, you don't know what happened in that meeting." They said, "You got fired and rehired," he said, in the same breath. So that was, one difficult person that I had to deal with. Another person is Aretha. Aretha, they sent me to Florida, okay, to Miami.
Okay.
Fame Studios. And they sent me down there to photograph, and her, when she came in doing the studio, she didn't show up. She'd never show up.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, because she hated to fly.
Oh, yes, that's right.
So, and if the train wasn't going there, or there wasn't some kind of limo transportation, she wouldn't go. She'd, work at another studio. She'd work over at Muscle Shoals, or work out of Philly.
Oh, wow.
Or in the Midwest, out like Chicago.
Okay.
So, one of the things I used to love to do, and I really missed when I started doing working more for the newspaper, Newsday, was I was able to go to Atlantic Studios, which was on 60th Street.
Mm-hmm.
And I could go there like about 8 o'clock at night, or like this time of night. I could go up there and ask the guy, Mac, to pull out certain artists, Brooke Benton, Wilson Pickett, Aretha, Dinah Washington. And he'd pull out these, the big tapes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he'd pull those out, and I'd sit in a studio, lights dimmed, with naturally in the studio they got VOTs.
Yes.
So you're surrounded by sound. You hear everything that goes on in the recording.
Oh, wow.
So I was able to hear a lot of stuff by Otis, some stuff that never, has even seen the light of day.
Oh, geez.
I remember one thing that I was at this was Dr. John recording Right Place, Wrong Time.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I walked in on that.
Oh.
I just happened to be up there. Yeah, I came up and they said, I wasn't shooting. I was stopping by the studio. It was on the way home because I lived on 71st Street at the time.
Oh, okay.
And I was coming up from Lower 6th Avenue and coming up to 60th Street is where Atlantic Studios used to be.
Okay.
And so I came up and they said, come on, get in here. So, okay, I got there. And, you stand against the wall. And they broke into the Right Place, Wrong Time. They did it in like one take, or at least a take that I was there for.
Wow.
2 minutes, 34 seconds, I think. Something like that.
So you were in the right place at the right time. Jeez.
Yeah, right.
Man.
Yeah, it must have been a good time.
Yeah. So out of all the covers you've shot, and like you're saying, there's, what would you say, almost 1,000 covers or so? Is there one that sticks out that is your favorite or that means more to you than maybe one other, besides, the one you got fired for?
Yeah. Al Green, Call Me.
Oh, wow.
The Call Me album. And the art director was wise enough to use a shot of him gesturing. He was like, in a kick mode.
Yes.
And
yes.
On the back cover. And that one, because the weird part about that was I'm out in California driving along the highway, and I'm looking in the distance, and there's an image that looks just familiar. And it turns out that was a 60-foot billboard.
Oh, wow.
Almost had a wreck.
I would have too.
Yeah. I got off, came back, and drove back down again. I couldn't believe that they used that, yeah.
Oh, man. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's one. There's a bunch of them. I did Blue Magic.
Yeah.
That was, they were crazy.
Now, didn't they just make a movie about the band? Recent, like the past year or two?
They might have, yeah. Yeah, they might. Yeah, they probably did a revision. They were a good group, but they were crazy.
Really?
They were just out now. Yeah, they were just out now crazy. I mean, they
how so?
As far as they almost didn't make it as a group because they couldn't get it together. And then finally, the producer Henry Allen told them, "Look, if you guys aren't." Number one, I went down to Philly 3 times to photograph them, and they weren't ready.
Oh, jeez.
And I came up with a great idea, which was the idea of them sitting on the car.
I love that.
They were
cover.
supposed to be, they were supposed to be sitting in period costume, but because they didn't get it together, I had to finally force them, because they were told that if you boys don't get this together this time around, you're not going to. It means that you can't handle. The responsibility of being a group and being places on time.
Right. Well, that makes sense.
So, yeah, no, it does. It does. And the guy that I had producing them was very tough. Nice guy. With him and I, we got along. But nice guy, but very tough. Yeah. And then, another person I photographed was a guy called Swamp Dog.
I'm not familiar with Swamp Dog.
Okay, look him up. Okay.
Okay.
You think the album that I did with Hank Crawford is bad? He did a record. Look it up.
I'm going to look it up right
Rat
now.
On. Yeah, Swamp Dog. He did an album called Rat On.
Okay.
R-A-T, Swamp Dog, D-O-G-G.
Okay, D-O-G-G.
Yeah. And he did an album, and on the album cover, he's riding a giant rat.
Oh, I just pulled it up. Oh, my God.
And critics have classified this as being one of the worst album covers in life. Okay.
This is something else.
But he was. He's a hell of an artist, producer. And,
okay.
we had a good time photographing because the art director was very stiff. And the next album that I did was I did an album cover for him called Finally Caught Up With Myself, and I did a double exposure on that, him pointing at himself.
Oh, okay.
2 exposures, both pointing at himself. So I don't know if that's still around. But yeah, the one on the rat is
that. I'm looking at that right now. That is something else.
Yeah, disgusting. Oh, how could it? That's. He did a record called "Mama's Baby, Daddy's Maybe."
Okay.
And if you get a chance, play it. I mean, it's a funny song. It's a funny song.
I'm gonna check that out as soon as we wrap up here.
You'll find it on YouTube. Mama's Baby, Daddy's Maybe.
Oh my gosh!
So,
like you were at Woodstock, and I've seen some pictures of you that you
4
shot.
days.
You were there the whole 4 days.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I had to leave when Hendrix came on. I had to leave before Hendrix came on because I was so exhausted, and I had myself and my assistant. We were so exhausted because we'd been up that last couple of nights because the Who came on, Janice, and we had to get back. We had deadline.
Oh wow!
And so I had to leave early that morning and drive back because we had to take 15-minute breaks. She drove for 15 minutes. I drove for 15 minutes to come back to the city. That's how tired we were.
Wow. Gee, because that's not a short ride from Woodstock back to the city. Oh my God.
And that's a funny story also because I had a wealth of stuff, and the producers of the movie came to me and another guy, Jim Marshall.
I'm familiar with Jim Marshall.
Material.
Yeah.
So him and I had talked for a brief moment. Said, we're not going to let them take advantage of us because there was a very bad vibe. You had to really not let these lawyers and people and managers try and talk you out of your stuff for like no money or you pay them for what you shot.
Oh God!
It was always one step away from that.
Yeah,
and you had to be tough. And you had a couple of people out there who were tough. One was Jim Marshall and another guy named David Garr.
Okay.
And David Garr was like he's got thousands of covers. Him and another guy named Chuck Stewart. Chuck Stewart's got like about 3,000-4,000 album covers out.
Oh wow.
He shot a lot of jazz. A lot of jazz.
Oh, okay.
Every major jazz artist Chuck Stewart was involved with.
I was just talking with somebody about that. I think it may have been another photographer a couple of weeks ago about classic jazz covers.
Yeah. Oh, he was the master.
Okay. Okay.
And so was David Garr. David Garr did a lot of folk music.
Okay.
And also a good amount of jazz. But David Garr was like tough. I mean, he would tell a manager off in a minute.
Oh wow!
And he would tell us who were the young guys, the newest guys on the block. There was only like about 9 of us who were doing rock and roll, being on the road and whatnot, and working for record companies and magazines. And he told us, he said, "You don't sell your stuff short. If I catch you selling your stuff short, I'm gonna kick your ass." Blah blah blah. He would go on. I mean, he'd get in your face.
Oh, wow.
And he was right.
Yeah,
that's the thing about it. He was right because managers would come along. They start talking a lot of nonsense. And we'll pay you $1 for this. You have to cover your own transportation to get to us, though.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. It was like that. And so you got a certain toughness. You had to have a certain toughness about you to deal with these people, like the Hendrix people. They're very tight with their material.
Yeah.
I mean, they're very. Which is understandable, but they can border on the point of being ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I haven't had any, I've heard stories. I've got like pictures in the studio as well as pictures in concert, and some rare pictures of an event that occurred on 138th Street.
Oh, really?
In Manhattan when Hendrix showed up there, yeah. So,
what kind of event was that?
he just popped up. He wanted to go and play in Harlem because he felt that the black community is not aware of him as an artist.
Ah.
And it's very strange because everybody's in R&B. But he got a decent reception. I mean, he got some respect because, as you know, I mean, the guy was probably one of the greatest guitar players around.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's stuff that, again, I was very privileged to be in the studio and see him do. And, you know, if you listen to Isabella, I mean, there's just so much going on.
Yeah.
That was not able to be done at that time because they didn't have the kind of multi-tracking refined. They had it, but it wasn't refined.
Okay.
To the point that it is to today. Much of that stuff is easy now. But back then, and that's when I said they called in Eddie Kramer, you know, to put it together. When I went into the studio, I know that night, we met for a second, talked for a second, and then I disappeared.
Now, was that the case with a lot of artists where your interaction with them wasn't very extensive? Were you just or did you make any friendships with any of the artists?
Yeah, well, I didn't want it to be extensive because I didn't want to be another person that they had to deal with.
Ah, okay.
You know, I mean, I didn't want, studio is a very personal place. I mean, you know, it's not, and the bigger the artist, you know, you got like your hangers on, you got people who want to talk. And I just was introduced to him. We spoke for a second, and then like I said, I disappeared. I just, I was a myth.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, not even a rumor. You know, there's a rumor that he maybe. No. You know.
Not even.
No.
Well, Jim,
and you find that when they respect you for that, you know, and you know, it was the same thing with the Zeppelin. The Zeppelin was the same thing. You know.
And how often did you get to shoot Zeppelin?
The Zeppelin just one time.
Okay.
One time when they first came here, when they first hit the country.
Oh wow!
The first album.
That's fantastic. I saw those pictures and I love Led Zeppelin's. Zeppelin and Hendrix are favorites.
Say again?
I was just saying that Led Zeppelin and Hendrix are two of my all-time favorites, as a lot of people I'm sure could say. But
yeah, and they were pleasant to work with. I mean, they were. I saw again where they came in. It was a strange studio, Atlantic studio, and they really had to get down to business. So again, stayed out of the way. I was able to get them a sitting session earlier the day before, I think, where they're sitting with a big painting in the background. So
that's fantastic. Where can people see your work? I know you've got the website. What is the address for that again?
Well, you mean the website that's up now?
Yeah, where people can go and take a look at your work. And I know you've got some gallery prints for sale.
They can go to Wikipedia.
Okay.
And they can go to the Jim Cummins Collection. You just put those two things in, and they'll come up.
And do you do? Are you still shooting?
Say again?
Are you still actively shooting professionally, or have you retired? Or
yeah, I'm still working. I'm not working as much as I used to. Right now, more of what I'm doing now is I'm having fun shooting. I mean, I get some busy because the business has changed.
Yeah,
and there's not a lot of work out here, to be perfectly honest with you.
Really? Oh,
there's not a lot of stuff has dried up. Oh, and gosh. So, but I have some things that I do, and then one of the other things that I've resigned myself to is I'm just going to have fun shooting. I got stuff up on Facebook. Got a page up on Facebook. If you look there, you'll see. Or follow Facebook, you'll see stuff that I put up from time to time. And that's having fun. I mean, that's from people to buildings to weird situations on the street.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
Having fun doing that. And then it looks like what I'm stepping into now is stepping into a lecture series. I've been doing lectures, but now I think it's going to become a regular thing where I'm going to hold this workshop.
Oh, and that's what, as That's what's coming up in a couple of weeks in November. You're going to be doing a workshop like you'd mentioned.
17th, yeah.
Okay.
17th.
Excellent. And you said this. So this should be an ongoing thing. And is this going to be something that's in the tri-state, New Jersey, New York area, or is it going to be something that kind of travels around and you're going to go to different areas?
Well, yeah, it might. I mean, we're doing this one first. Mel and I are doing this one first, and see how. Well, I mean, I'm going to do it again. I mean, because I enjoy at this point now seeing, how much information I can give out to people. As far as like what to do in the business now, where it's going.
Okay.
A lot of things that I see that are happening. I want to be able to pass on to people. Because it's tough now. And if you don't know or have some kind of idea as to where it's going, or an inkling, it's even tougher.
How can people?
So I want to be able to, pass the word on.
How can people find out about these?
Help people. Huh?
How can people find out about the seminars that you're doing? And maybe get.
How do people find out what I do?
Yeah. Is there a website for the lecture series that you're doing?
Yeah, Facebook. I'm telling you, Facebook.
Okay. Oh, so it's all on Facebook. Okay, great.
Yeah, Facebook and Wikipedia.
Okay. All right.
And the Jim Cummins Collection. The Jim Cummins Collection is stuff that's been done. Okay. Mm-hmm. Same thing with the things on Wikipedia. I mean, you may find a few different things, but the new stuff I've just been go out and shoot is up on Facebook.